Good morning students. Welcome to our class Biological Science. Dear students, in the previous section we have started our new lesson, Production and Management of Food from Plants. That means agriculture. Okay, production and management of food from the plants. That means from the agriculture. In the previous section, we have discussed that so many things about and belongs to the agriculture. What is a crop? What is agriculture? What are Rabi crops? Rabi and Kharif crops. And importance about the rice. Rice in our daily life. Okay, what is a crop? Growing of plants in large numbers that we get the useful food products is called crop. Growing of crops is called agriculture. The crops which are grown in the winter season, Rabi crops. The crops which are grown in the summer season, rainy season, Kharif crops. The crops which are grown in the winter season, Rabi crops. And importance of rice. We all know very well, the growing of paddy is associated with our life practices. We mainly depend on food that we get from the plants. We mainly depend on food for our energy, from which we get from the plants. From which plants we are especially take this paddy, that means rice, as our food. Yes or no? So, the paddy has the importance, supreme. Okay, na? It is the supreme and high valuable food staple in the markets. Okay, the rice is the important, supreme and prime food staple. Okay, na? Rice, food staple. So, it is growing from that means the Mesolithic period and late Mesolithic period and Harappa civilizations. Okay, now, although it is belong to the warm tropical regions, but other countries like Japan, the polar regions like China, Japan and Australia are also practicing these rice. That means they are also growing these paddy crops. India has the largest land under the cultivation of the paddy, but unfortunately we are getting the low products when compared to the China and Japan. We are getting the low harvesting when compared to China and Japan. India has the largest land under the cultivation of this paddy. Though it has the largest land, but we are getting the low production when compared with the low production per hectare when compared with China and Japan countries. Okay, now come to our topic. So in this section, we are going to discuss about the management of rice, management of paddy. Okay, na? Management of growing of paddy. The paddy field is divided into so many plots called kayalu or modulu. So the farmers, before the growing of the paddy in their fields, they practice some management methods. The first one is they divide their field into plots. They divide the field into plots by making the bunds. It is called kayalu or madulu. What is the importance of dividing the field into, for example, it is a field. They divided it into plots. Okay, so like this, by making the bunds. So before growing the crops, the farmers divide their field into the plots or plots. That means kayalu or madulu. So what is the importance of dividing these into the plots? Because for easy transportation of air and water and manure. So that is the main importance, or that is the secret behind the dividing of field into the plots or madulu or kayalu. Do you understand that? For easy transportation of air, water and manure. Next. So come to the second one. Farmers take different types of conditions before the planning of this agriculture. Okay. So what are the conditions they observe? That is nature of soil, rainfall, temperature, and humidity. Farmers take into an account all these four before the growing of the crops. They have an idea, or they have the before plan. They have the plan before the cultivation of the crops. That is the nature of the soil, rainfall, temperature, and humidity. Because they are vary from season to season. Okay, so growing of rice is associated with so many seasonal tasks. Okay, now growing of paddy associated with so many seasonal tasks. Sowing the seeds and transplanting. Do you understand? Sowing and transplanting of seeds is associated with the Akshaya Tritiya. Okay, sowing of seeds and transplanting of seedlings is also plantlets or seedlings associated with Akshaya Tritiya, and harvesting of the crop is associated with the Onam or Pongal. Okay, so we are celebrating so many festivals when we are cultivating this crop. Because of that, we already explained about growing of the paddy is associated with so many seasonal tasks. Sowing of seeds and transplanting of seedlings or plantlets associated with Akshaya Tritiya, and harvesting is associated with Pongal or Onam. Okay, now, and also the farmers sing different types of songs when they are doing all these things. They celebrate the different types of festivals. Do you understand that? Now come to the another one. So growing of paddy involves different tasks. There are different types of methods are there. For cultivation of the paddy crop, there are different stages are there. Different tasks are there. The first one is leveling the soil is important. Associated. So growing a paddy crop is associated with seasonal task, and growing of the paddy crop has so many steps is there. That means different types of tasks are there. The first one is preparing the soil. Or leveling the soil. Second one is sowing of seeds. Sowing seeds. Third one is applying manure. And next one is irrigation, water facilitation. Supplying of water. And fifth one is weeding. Kaluvu mokkలు తీసేయడం. Sixth one is harvesting. కోత కోయడం. And seventh one is storage. Not only growing is important, but storage of the paddy or the rice is very important. Okay, now not it affected by the fungus or different types of bacteria. So these are the tasks. So growing of paddy crop involves the different tasks are associated with the different types of stages are there. The first one is preparing the soil, sowing of seeds, applying manure, irrigation, weeding, harvesting and storage. The first one is preparing the soil. Now I am going to explain about it, preparing the soil. So first of all, what is the importance of preparing the soil or leveling the soil? Okay, before growing the crop or before growing the seeds, the leveling of soil is very important. So the farmers divide their field into plots by using the bunds. Okay, na? Farmers divide their field into plots by making the bunds for easy transportation of air and water. So before growing the seeds, leveling is very important. We all are know very well for growing of the seeds. For growing of seeds, entry of air and water is very important to the roots. Yes or no? For growing of the crops or for growing of the seeds, the entry of or absorption of air and water is very important by the roots of the plant. So, if we level the soil, air and water is easily entered into the soil. Do you understand that? Next. So, how does the leveling is done? The leveling is done by using a pair of bullocks or nowadays the tractors are using. Okay, so for easy transportation of or without disturbance of in the transportation of air and water to the each and every plant of the field, they have to be the field has to be flowed. That means flow. Flow means araka, flowing. So to level the soil, to leveling the field, the flow is used. The flow is used. The flow is made up of iron and wood. Iron and wood. The flow is pulled by a pair of bullocks in the field. After that, all the weeds are submerged, all the weeds are plucked out, and then the field is flooded with the water. At that time, all the weeds, the dead weeds, which are pulled out. So the dead weeds are submerged in the soil and it gives nutrients to the soil. That is one of the important for leveling of the soil. Do you understand? So the leveling the soil, what is the importance of leveling of soil? For the growing of the seeds, growing of the plants, the entry of air and water to each and every plant is very important. So because of that, the leveling must be done. Do you understand? Without disturbance of supplying of air and water, the leveling is done. The leveling is done by the flow. The flow is pulled by a pair of bullocks. The flow is made up of wood and iron. Do you understand that? So, at the time during the leveling, by using the flow, all the weeds that present in the field is pulled out. So they submerged and then the field is flooded with water. All the weeds are submerged in the soil and they release the nutrients which are useful for growing of the crop. Okay, very good. What is the importance of leveling the soil? Now come to the point. Before growing the crop, leveling the soil is very important because the leveling makes the soil loosen. It makes the field or the soil loosen for the free entry of air and water to each and every plant of the crop. Okay, the first point is the soil makes loosen. Okay, now the soil becomes loosen for the free entry of air and water. Next, the water is deeply stored in the soil for a long time by doing this leveling. The water is deeply stored. Next one, the roots penetrate deep into the soil when we are leveling. And soil friendly microorganisms, farmer friendly organisms or soil friendly microorganisms are grown in this leveling field. Do you understand that? What is the importance of leveling? It makes the soil loose. Soil loosen in free entry of air and water. Water is deeply stored. Okay, the fourth one. Roots penetrate deep in soil. Soil friendly microorganisms will grow. Okay, so those are the 5 points. To make the soil loosen, the loosened soil easily gets air and water is deeply stored in the soil for a long time. Roots penetrate deep into the soil, and soil-friendly microorganisms will grow. So, how the flowing is done? The flowing is done by the flow, araka. So, see in your textbook, there is a T-shaped flow is there. Like this flow is there. Okay, the flowing is done by the flow. The flow is made up of iron and wood. I already told you that. It is in the shape of the T. T shape. Which shape? T shape. The machine is, this flowing machine is also used in the weeding also. Weeding. Do you know weeding? Kalupu teeseyadani. Okay. So the flow is pulled by a pair of bullocks. Or nowadays the tractors also available which contains these flows. Do you understand? So the flow, at the end of the flow, there is a chisel like iron nails are there. Chisel. Kodava lanti akaralu. So chisel shaped like iron nails are present which are useful to penetrate the soil. So they deeply penetrate the soil and make the soil loosen. Do you understand this? So at the end of the flow, there is a chisel like iron nail shaped are there which are useful for penetrating the soil. So the penetrating the soil makes the soil loosen the soil. It makes loosen the soil. So the air and water are easily entered into it. Do you understand? The flow is made up of wood or iron. Okay, it is pulled by a pair of bullocks or the tractor. Okay, it is in the shape of the T. At the end of the flow, there is a chisel shaped iron nails are present which are useful for deeply penetrating into the soil and makes the loosen the soil. Okay, so next the flooding is done. That means filtration of water. Facilitation, not felicitation. Okay, now providing water to the crop is called irrigation. I already told you that. So they flooded the field. So the flooding of field submerged all the weeds in it and provide the nutrients for the growing of crops. Okay, so in the next section we will discuss about the applying manure. Okay, so these students, these are the important points. Okay, so management of agriculture. Preparing the soil is very important. So preparing the soil means the farmers divided their field into the so many plots known as kayalu or madulu. What is the importance for easy transportation or for equal distribution of manure, equal distribution of water, equal distribution of air? Do you understand that? Okay, so preparing soil is very important. The farmer have before an idea about this before the growing of their agriculture practices. Okay, so what are the tasks that involves in the growing of the paddy fields? That means our agriculture. So these are the steps. One is the sowing of seeds, preparing the soil, agriculture, irrigation, weeding, harvesting and storage. So we discussed about the preparing the soil. The first thing is what is the importance of leveling the soil is for easy transportation of air and water. And also it makes the leveling makes the soil loosen. Okay now, the flowing of field makes the soil loosen, and it makes the soil loosen and free entry of air and water into the field and deeply storage of water for a long time and easy transportation of air. And soil friendly microorganisms also will grow. After that, what is the flow? The flow is made up of iron and wood. It is in the shape of the T. At the end of the flow, there is a chisel like iron nail, T-shaped ones are there, which deeply penetrate into the soil. Okay, which removes all the weeds, and then the field is flooded with the water, and all the weeds are. Weed means kalpu mokkalo. And all unwanted plants in the crop. All the weeds are submerged in the water, and it releases the nutrients useful for the growing of the crop. Okay, so dear students, in the next section we will discuss about the remaining tasks. Okay, thank you.